it was my male peers that whenever I would be in a vicinity of these players, would love to reduce it down to what they thought my motivation was. So automatically, I felt uncomfortable being around the players and the team, even though it's part of my job. I have to go get video of these guys and be close to them. And everyone would just reduce it down to what my motives were.
Mhm.
It happens so often. So you kind of just get a thick skin and just let your work do the talking because it's really unfortunate that um, that does have to happen, but it's just part of it. And I don't think anyone, any woman should be confined to just one space. Um, I think I could go on and on, but it's just like a really tangled web where I truly just don't understand why we can't be seen just as credible as men in the sports field. I really think we'll just bring a great presence to the world of sports. The women I work with are just so incredible and such creative thinkers. I know I sound like a broken record, but we just definitely bring, and you know what, sometimes we bring a softness to it too, and that's okay. Um, and we just really need to create more opportunities for our women in sports. And I think um, another group that doesn't get much of a enough credit is women of color as well that are in this industry. I know just being in meetings, we're the last to speak up, and when we do speak up, it's kind of brushed off, or we're not asked questions or asked to give our perspective. So for women and women of color that want to break into this industry, just speak up and be loud. And even though when a man is loud, it's considered powerful, and when a woman is loud, it's considered aggressive. Like you just have to keep moving forward. But all of the women that I've worked with in sports are incredibly creative, incredibly passionate, super smart. Like I would want them on my team any day, and always be an advocate for other women. Um, I mean, obviously, if you don't click with them or their views, that's one thing, but we definitely need to be on each other's side and help push each other up. They bring, if qualified, they just bring a different perspective to the game, whether, and most of the time, these women have played the sports that they're talking about. There's a lot of women that play hockey. I mean, I can name five women that I've worked with within hockey and sports in general that have played professional women's hockey. And um, my friend Sarah, whom I mentioned before, she played basketball in college. So they've competed in these high levels of sports. And while I've never played on a high level, I know what I'm talking about. And I remember being out, whether it's at a bar or whatever, and you're talking to a guy and he's like, I bet you can't name, six people on the Mets roster. And at that point, I could go deep into their bench and they just don't expect it. And I'm not sure why, because I know so many women that love sports more than some of the men I know. So I really think that women also have a great way with words. We really like to take our time and we pay attention to detail. Not saying men don't, but women definitely have these same qualities, and that they can break into journalism or sports media or game presentation. And I remember reading an article recently that, and this happened a while ago, I think, where this female journalist was about to do an interview in a football locker room, and she said that she made sure to dress conservatively, which which is crazy to me. Like a woman's body is a woman's body, but she said she had on a high neck, her skirt was below her knees, and this football player came in and he just like took off his shirt and got on the massage table thinking her job was the massage therapist and not the journalist. And, same happens, that happens everywhere. I used to tell people when I worked in sports, they're like, oh, you must do PR. Like the only job for a woman in sports is PR. I was like, no, actually, I don't. I know a lot of women that do PR and they're great at it, but
Mhm.
that's not what. So I do think it's evolving and women definitely have a place in sports.